I realized today an issue that I have had for a very long time, and it has definitely crept its way into my dilemma that I have had with, this YouTube and podcast stuff, and kind of getting tired of talking about it myself. I know you're probably tired of hearing about it, but this is kind of an important episode because it's a lesson learned for me. And now that I look back on it, excuse me, now that I look back and see where the problem is, I feel like a huge release. I feel a huge relief and weight off my shoulders. And so that issue is perfectionism and envy. So when I first started this Untethered, it wasn't called Untethered, it was called a Real World Podcast, and I had started it simply as a podcast. It was not on YouTube, it wasn't on Substack, it was nowhere else, just on Spotify and other podcast platforms and such, and it was just something for me to do. I never did it with any real expectations, but it helped me so much. It helped me to get things off my chest by just talking about my daily issues, my problems, my conflicts, my dilemmas, the things going on in my head. And it just gave me that release. I thought it was just a really good outlet to be able to just put it on a podcast. Because I was able to fully speak everything that was on my mind, get it off my chest, and put it out there, because even though I'm not speaking directly to a person, someone is going to hear it. So that was the kind of my mind frame back when I started the podcast I think it was around 2019 was the first episode that I ever made. And I really enjoyed it. I loved walking in the park every morning, or sometimes in the afternoon whenever we would go to Burns Park, and my husband would go do his run, and I would walk by myself and through the woods, these beautiful woods, the park and the path. And it's just so peaceful. And to be able to just talk into my phone and do an episode and talk about my day and get things off my chest was so helpful to me in so many ways. And so it kind of blossomed from there when I started, getting into the YouTube stuff. And here comes the point, the topic, the perfectionism and envy. So I started seeing how other people were doing things. And I, of course, saw YouTube videos about how people make a lot of money doing YouTube, and people that make a living wage on YouTube. And of course, that lights a fire underneath you. You see other people doing things and you want to do it too. And you're like, well, I already like doing this, so maybe I could make money doing it. Yes, that was what I started to think. And therein lies the problem. Because when you start doing something for money, that's all you really think about is that purpose. So I really kind of fell off of the whole peaceful podcast thing, and started getting into doing other things, and I completely neglected the blessing of being able to just get things off my chest in this simple fashion. Because back then, for my podcast, I don't think I really even had like intros or any kind of special anything. I just talked into my phone, uploaded it, and that was that. and it was wonderful. And I really enjoyed it. And it kind of reminds me, as a quick side note here, whenever I used to write, from the age of 13 all the way up until 2012, when, I hit the bestsellers list. I loved writing. It was just the one thing that I love to do more than anything. And you'll probably hear a motorcycle going by. It was my comfort food. It was my go-to. It was everything to me. Unfortunately, Jesus should have been everything to me, but that's not the point right now. I'm talking about in that moment, that's what made me happy. And then when I hit the big time, quoting with my fingers, it just all went downhill from there. My passion, my love for writing just left. I know I've talked about this more in detail, so, in another episode called Success Ruined Me. So I'm not going to get into that again here. I'm just briefly reiterating. And so the kind of the same thing happened when I started looking at my podcast episodes as something more. I started looking at the whole thing as wanting to do something with something that I love. The same thing with writing. And whenever you start thinking that way, if you take your passion or your hobby, the thing that you really love to do, and you start to focus, you switch your mentality from the enjoyment to making money from it, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when the love for that thing starts to fade. And I'm not saying, of course, that, don't try to make money off of what you do. That's absolutely not what I'm saying, because it's wonderful to be able to have an income, to make money from what you love to do, as opposed to going to a job that you hate and working for someone who doesn't really care about you. So, of course, we all want that. We all want to prosper doing what we love to do. And very few of us really get to do that. So when we do manage to pull that off, it's a wonderful thing. Just like it was for me in the beginning when I made, my money with my books. But the problem was the trade-off. I lost my passion and gained a bunch of money. And while I'm glad that I had all that money, the passion is something that money cannot buy. And so let me skip ahead a little bit here. I, started thinking about all this YouTube stuff, and so I kind of dropped that for a while and went back into just doing, simple episodes, but always in the back of my mind, because I wasn't making money anymore on books, always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, how can I make an income? So it's kind of hard for me to just take that from my brain and set it aside and not think about it at all, because it's my responsibility to figure this out, to figure out how I can make money. So, it's a very difficult balancing act. So I said I was fast forwarding, and now I'm going to. So recently, when I was doing well with my Untethered channel, I was doing things that I didn't really want to do, and with the intentions of hoping to make, get subscribers and make ad revenue. But the problem was I was doing things that made me uncomfortable, which was always sitting in front of the camera, all the things that I've listed in previous episodes that I will not bore you with again. So I was doing all of these things, and it wasn't enough. I wasn't getting enough subscribers. So that was in the back of my head too. It's like, okay, I've already done this many episodes and I still don't have anywhere near the subscriber count that I need. So here I am focusing on this again. And it was very stressful. So recently, when I started the new channel, This Faithful River, which I have now deleted, it is gone. I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos from other people, and I became envious. Not in a bad way, but in that way where you just want to have, not where you resent someone for what they have, but where you want to have what they have. You want to do what they do because you enjoy it so much. And I got so wrapped up in that. Watching these ladies, I love their YouTube channels. I like to just put them on and kind of have them on in the background while I'm working on stuff. And it's just very relaxing, and I just love their style. I wanted to make my videos like theirs. And so I started thinking of ways that I would do mine, similar but different. I got so wrapped up in that. I just kind of forgot myself. I forgot who I was, getting wrapped up in other people's lives and other people's styles of their YouTube channels and such. So that's what happened. That's what made me want to do this YouTube channel, this new one. And I wasn't satisfied with what I was doing. And therein lies the problem of perfectionism. I have a terrible, terrible problem with trying to make everything perfect all the time. It's so very difficult for me to leave something unfinished or to work on something and it's not turning out right. I have gone hours and hours without using the restroom because I did not want to get up from the desk because of a graphic I was working on or a video I was working on or something, and it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And I would just stress myself so bad that, the enjoyment it just sucks the enjoyment out. So I have had that issue, that's what I've been going through right now, and what I've realized. There's a Bible verse about envy that I want to read. It's Proverbs 14:30. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. That is so true. That is so absolutely true. When you're envious of someone else's work, someone else's life, someone else's anything, it tears you down. Even if you think it's in an innocent way, which I thought it was with this whole YouTube thing, and thinking, wow, I was watching these women, I want to be like that. I want to do like they do. I want to have a YouTube channel like they have. I want to put music. I want to do all these, things that they did. I even went as far as being so envious of their houses and because I used to live like they did before I came to Mexico. And I had, the thrifted stuff. I had the, white paint on the walls. I don't have any of that anymore. I'm living in a one-room studio with blue and yellow walls and color everywhere, and it's never been my style. So it made me, kind of sad that I left all of this stuff behind. They would go out and do videos in their yard, in their gardens, and in the country, and next to a beautiful tree, and I saw them. They're wearing long sleeve shirts. I don't remember the last time I wore a long sleeve anything, because it's always so hot here. So seeing them living the life that I used to have, I'm not crying. I'm just it doesn't sound like I was crying there for a minute, but I'm not. Seeing that made me so envious that it started to make me feel a little bit of depression again. And of course, I had to pray about it. I just, that's the last thing I need, is for depression to creep back into my life and me let it. So that's when I started to realize that I was envious of these other people's YouTube channels, and I wanted to do the same thing. And perfectionism is a sin. And I completely understand why, because you don't get anything from perfectionism. Wanting to be perfect all the time, wanting to never make mistakes, because perfection does not exist. Not here. I Googled it and I read that the root cause of perfectionism is the fear of judgment and disapproval from others. And that's just like hit the nail. That is just spot on. Because that is me. That is absolutely me. All my life I've tried to impress other people, to live up to other people's expectations. And I always fear making mistakes. I always try to, I've said this before also, that I try, even when it came to people who read my books, if they would complain about something that I wrote, I would change it. I would alter my stories. I would change my characters' actions, because I've self-published. Most of my books have been self-published, and I can do that. I can go back into my books and edit them and republish them. And so I have done that so many times that I can honestly tell you that the books that are on sale right now, 90% of them are not what they were in the beginning. They have been, every single one of them has been altered in some way by my fear of not being able to cater to everyone. It's really kind of ridiculous, but so many people are like that, and I've been that way for as long as I can remember. That I'm always trying to satisfy everyone around me, even though that's virtually impossible. You can never satisfy everybody. So, yeah, perfectionism is like, it's like a disease. You're never going to get it perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect ever. And the harder you try to make it perfect, the more miserable you become. And I do that all the time, and that's the one thing I just really, really need to work on myself about. I need to stop worrying about what other people will like and not like, and just be myself. So that brings me back to the original podcast, the original idea, the original just talking. And so today, I started watching, well, not today, I didn't start watching this man, but there's a man called David Michael Riggs. He's an older gentleman, and he's got him a little YouTube channel, and he's a delight to watch and to listen to. He's always talking about God. He always talks about his love for God, and he talks about the Bible and things, but he does it in a way that you just feel like he's your friend. And it's just very comforting. I just really enjoy his episodes. But see, here's the thing. There's nothing glamorous or flashy or professional about his episodes. He might be talking in his car one day, or sitting outside where there's a river or something, some really loud noise. He doesn't care, or he doesn't seem to fret over these things. about, sound quality or video quality. He definitely doesn't have a script. And I like that about him, because it makes me feel like my original, the way I wanted to do things in the very beginning, the way that they just made me happy. They made me feel like I was getting things off my chest. I was just talking to whoever would listen. And he doesn't have very many followers, but I really enjoy his episodes. And I hope and pray that he does not change. He doesn't do like I do, or like a lot of people do, and they see how other people do their episodes, and all of a sudden, I hope he doesn't want to change things up and make things better. He doesn't even have an intros and outros, and I have spent hours and hours creating intros and outros on my videos and on my podcast episodes. I remember I spent 2 days in here just downloading stuff from Canva to make the My Faithful River episode, or intros and outros. They were just cute little 6-second intros and outros, and I started to do it again today. Because now I was thinking, okay, now I have to redo all these intros and outros, because they don't say Untethered, they say My Faithful River. And I started to get on Canva and do that, and then I had to stop myself. I said, no. I said, you know what? Just go back to basics. Don't do this for the flashy stuff, for for everybody else. I mean, you do want, of course I want people to listen. I want people to enjoy, but you don't need all that stuff. I don't need, this pretty introduction music and this whole production thing going on, and I don't even care about the editing much anymore, unless it's something really major that I need to cut out. It's just, I don't need that stuff. I never really needed it in the beginning. I didn't enjoy it. It just was stressful. And now I see why. It's just because I want people to like what I do, but how am I going to expect people to like what I do if I don't even like it myself? And so I've got to break free from, and not just with videos and YouTube and podcasts, but in my everyday life, anything that I do, I just want to be able to break free from that disease of perfectionism and envy of others. I just want to enjoy watching the ladies that I watch on YouTube, and not feel like, I want to be like them or have what they have. And I want to go back to basics, like that gentleman that I enjoy watching. And I'm going to link his YouTube channel in the description below for you if you're interested. He needs some subscribers anyway. I feel like, he doesn't have very many. He's probably happy with what he has, but it's just, it's always good for when, people are enjoying what you're doing. And, so yeah, I'm going to link his YouTube channel below so you can check him out if you're interested. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going back to basics. I'm not doing what I've been doing on the YouTube Untethered. I'm not going to have, these fancy intro music with video, and outro with video. I'm just going to cut to the chase. I'm going to, do mostly just voiceovers like I'm doing right now. I'm laying in my bed. There goes another motorcycle just by. I'm just going to record, and it feels so wonderful to be able to do this. I am here to tell you, just being able to open my phone on a whim and just talk about what's on my mind is so refreshing. Whereas before, in order to do an episode, it was a process. I had to make sure my hair was done, makeup was done. I had to put on a dress. I had to make sure it was daylight. I couldn't even record at night because, there's no light coming through the window, and it's kind of dark in my studio. All these issues just to record an episode. And there's nothing satisfying about that whatsoever. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing a lot of voiceovers and, just using footage. I took some beautiful footage yesterday. Me and my husband drove to one of the other communities about 10 minutes from here, and it was at sunset. And the sun was just setting over the lagoon, and it was just stunning. So beautiful. And I am so happy that I got that on videos. So I'm going to be using that in another episode and for another day, not this one. I'm not sure what if you're watching on YouTube and not on a podcast, but I'm not sure what footage I'll use, but I'm always going to use my own stock footage. I'm not going to go scouring the internet for free stock videos, and I'm going to use my own stuff and just place the voice over the background, over the video, and just let it go. And there will be times when I'm going to do a video, I'm talking into the camera, but only when I just feel like it. I'm not going to stress myself over this anymore. I'm not going to fall into that perfectionism pit. And I'm, as far as envying other people, that's just so ridiculous to me. I just need to stop doing it and just enjoy what they have and enjoy what I have, and that'd be it. So, yeah, if you struggle with perfectionism or envy in your life, try to break free from that as much as you can. The Bible helps tremendously with every possible thing you can imagine. And there's so much wisdom in the Bible that I feel like it needs to be everywhere. It needs to be in schools. It needs to be in universities and colleges. It needs to be everywhere, because there is nothing in this world that you're going to read or get more wisdom from than the Bible. And that is absolutely 100% true. There's nowhere you're going to get it. And everybody else that gets their wisdom, it comes from the same place. So, yeah, I just wanted to get this off my chest today, because I realized that I've been doing this not for myself, but for other people, and wanting to just please everyone and wanting thousands and thousands of subscribers so I could make thousands of dollars. And, it's not about that. Life is not about money. And of course, I've said it before, I'm not really too concerned. I feel like I know God will provide for us. I'm not asking to be rich. I'm not even praying to Him to be rich. I just want to be provided for, and I know that He will do that. And I don't need a lot of money in order to be provided for. I just don't. And I'm going to be doing a scripted text on my Substack page, or Substack publication, which is also linked in the description. It's going to be titled Costly Wealth. I've already written it up. It was one of the episodes that I was going to do for the YouTube channel that I just recently deleted. And I'm not going to do it here on YouTube or the podcast. So the only place you're going to be able to find all of the text scripted stuff, the really well thought out content, is only going to be on my Substack Substack publication. So I ask you to go over there and sign up and just to subscribe, and it's just really nothing to it. And so I talk a lot about not needing money and how money just really, really costs me everything. And it's the same thing with this, it's just like, we all want to be able to have an income. We all want to survive, but God will provide for us. And I know He's going to provide for me. I'm not worried about it. I don't need to try to get 10,000 followers in order to support me. If I get 10,000 followers in one day, then fine. But I'm not thinking about that anymore. I'm just doing what I enjoy, And that's what matters. Do what you enjoy. Find the Lord if you haven't found him yet. And everything else will fall into place. That's my episode for today. I hope everyone enjoys it. I hope everyone sticks around. And I feel just so free. I feel like I can almost do an episode every day now, just in shorts and a tank top. So may God bless you, your family, and your life.